Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to Let's Play Control.
I'll do my best.
Let's see, we gotta tidy up the coffee cups, deliver some mail, gotta scan those forms. You know, all the normal things that we've been doing all game long. And there are so many of these coffee cups to tidy up, but we're done. But would you look at that, there's so many more. There's always more that we have to tidy up. And we can't fall behind. We've been hardworking so far, but if we start to let up, if we take a break, our performance is going to slip. We're going to be less productive, less efficient. We've built up expectations now of how hard we're going to work all the time, ceaselessly, without end, without break, without want of even a thank you. And the break room is fucked.
Time is money. Right away. Right away.
We are just a normal adult in normal capitalism.
I'm sorry.
Dehumanized, denigrated, demeaned, and absolutely not in control. But hey, the scanner, which is also, I guess, the copy machine, it works pretty well. That's kind of a nice little silver lining, huh?
Oh, he's not in. No, not today. A research project he has to oversee. Moving.
I'll do my best.
The nerve of this woman.
Oh, now we have something to deliver to the director, who is, of course, not Jesse. We're showing initiative. We're gonna move up the corporate ladder by starting at the bottom and delivering the mail.
Maybe you can find yourself in the director's office.
Hey, Ati's here.
Oh, great. I was just waiting for my mail. Just leave it on the desk there, please. Please, take the outgoing mail as well. Thank you. Very good. You better run along now. I have a lot of work to do. Important bureau business.
Oh, of course. Right away. Thank you, Mr. Director. What is happening? I don't like this. No, this isn't me. I'm not me. I can't. Why can't I feel you? Oh, I've forgotten something. I can't think. Oh, I'm lost. Oh, where are you? I can't feel anything. I don't want to be alone here.
Oh, have you seen him?
Where am I? What is this? I want it end. Wake up, please. I want to go home.
That effect is so cool, and you don't get to really look at it head on like that often. But now, things have deteriorated in the second loop. Again, the Emperor has no clothes. Oh, it's so cool! It's the shimmer from the movie version of Annihilation, basically. But back to the grind. Back to the grind. We're gonna tidy up some more coffee cups and hopefully we get another missive in the pneumatic mail system. Not that one. Plus, all these doubts and all the pressure that's mounting, it lends this crippling unease to an already really off-kilter, surreal scene. Because suddenly, with all of the fantastical and phantasmagoric muted a little bit, slowly wedging its way back in, but muted compared to the rest of the game, these real, relatable fears manifest a little more strongly. This anxiety about yourself, or Jesse's self, and her self-worth being good enough. And of all of these eroding forces of life in capitalist society chipping away at
You
her.
should keep trying. You are getting closer.
I need to go inside. It's
brilliant.
I need to keep moving.
I must act. I have a plan. An answer. I'll take the slide projector to the nostalgia department. I'll turn it on. I'll bring the hiss in. I'll fix this. I can hear them plotting against me. We've been invaded, corrupted. I've lost Darling. He was the first to go. He's been exposed to Hedron's resonance. It controls him now. It controls everyone who wears the amplifier device. I ordered them not to use the damn things. They didn't listen. Hedron corrupted the Bureau. They'll never be people again. They're either dead or they're monsters. I'll stop them. I have a secret ally. The nostalgia department. I have my own slide for the projector. I took it. A memento. In ordinary. After the girl burned them. It's burnt, but it'll work. The hiss will save us all. I lost my train of thought. It's confused. Like, somebody, switching channels too fast. But, I see so much, but it's too fast. On the expedition through the slide, something got into my ear, and it hurt at first. But then it didn't. It started as a distant whisper, like something you hear in a dream, like a faraway voice calling you to wake up. I'd open my eyes with those words still on my lips. See, in the dream, they had made perfect sense, but awake, they're like a foreign language, already forgotten. Then the sense of loss hits, like losing a child, like losing yourself. You see, I was being taught a song, a poem, a prayer that would light up my world and make me break through, make all this pain worth it. Something once lost was found, and it made a home in me. A spring with, like, waves carving me and making me see. And it grew until it filled me. And I receded deeper into myself, into this office, locked in this oldest house, which is my aging body. I stared in awe through the people, and I was filled with knowledge and made better. I often feel like I'm being watched. Yeah, like there's someone watching me. They can see me, but I can't see them. I remember it was like this dream I had last night. See, there was this man. here, in this very room. And then, well, sometimes he was a plumber, unclogging the drain, and well, because there was a fish stuck there. Yeah, a big fish. But sometimes he was an old god, you see, and he had put the fish there in the first place to keep the waste. There was rising waste from leaking out, so he was he was conflicted, but he knew many things, but he was also sort of senile, like me. It was more like a riddle or an omen. It wasn't a very good one or an interesting one, but I get so confused so easily. It's so very hard to follow everything that's happening.
I won't let them win. That's how it happened. The Hiss got Trench first. He turned on the projector. He let them in. I have to remember the Hiss. The Hiss is the enemy. This is all inside my head. The Hiss burrowing in. I'm trapped in here. They're taking over.
Did I mention this is all out of Dylan's dreams, by the way? Also, we're skipping the line this time. This whole section is so damn good. Oh, this game is always full of such cool surprises. And once again, things have deteriorated out here. Including Dylan. So that was Jesse kind of taking control. Not being given it or accepting it, but taking it.
This. I will find a way to push them out.
Welcome back. I knew I chose a good assistant.
And the action of taking control begins with taking the gun.
I know what I must do. Start at the beginning. I should have seen it earlier. This is my mess to clean up. My fight. No one else's. I am the director.
Hello, this is Dr. Casper Darling. I have a classified message for the director of the Federal Bureau of Control. I have sad news. Hedron is gone now, but it was not a source. It was a catalyst. Do you understand? You must go to my office, the Endgame. It will be revealed.
I was hoping my hiccups would go away during the hiss incantation. But no. So we are going to have to do the rest of... There it is. The rest of this hiccups aplenty. So how do we get back to Dr. Darling's office? This is half sincere, since I don't actually remember which one of these is his. Does give us a chance to look... Oh, there. Chance to look around for a second. And this is oh so familiar to us.
You're gone. Dead. I can't feel you. I can't... This is what Dylan wanted all along. But there's something. I can feel it, but I don't know what. The motel is a place of power, of change, a place to pass through, connecting everything. This is a dream inside my head. Why shouldn't it take me anywhere I want to go?
Look at that poster. Also, this is still a real place as far as real goes.
Really?
Yeah, it's this!
Nobody knew her name, but she turned up just the same. There was a knock on the door, a thump on the floor, and the party turned insane as she called out her name. Hey, and she walked in looking like dynamite. She said, now come along and boogaloo through the night. And by the way she's moving, well, dynamite. Might she not, with all she's got the whole town lighting up dynamite. Nobody quite knowing what to do, wrong or right, but they all know Jesse is dynamite. They're right.
Yes!
This is so weird. But it is my head. You're such a weirdo, Jesse.
I love it. This entire denouement is self-actualization. Oh.
Grow brighter around one constant. They revolve. Hedron is dead, but you're alive here in me. Maybe Hedron put you in our heads when we met her. Maybe you were always there. And she was just trying to teach me how to trigger you. Maybe I'll never understand. Maybe I don't need to. Trench was the first to be corrupted by the hiss. Slowly, over the years. His need for control only made it worse. It was Trench who took the projector to the nostalgia department. He opened the door to the hiss. Just like that. With Hedron dead, the hiss tried to corrupt me too. But I'm stronger than them. We're stronger. They're waiting. They'll try to stop us.
My sister had this dream. A bad dream. And the whole world was dreaming with her.
Dylan?
She convinced herself that she was awake. She's always been stubborn. To end her dream, I had to wake her up. I had to rip down the poster she'd been staring at. Cut off her eyelids to make her see. To save her.
I know he's still there somewhere. Locked inside. I know, because that's how it was for me.
This is tremendous imagery. I am all the way here for it. And this corruption of the board and its associated imagery and iconography. It's so good. And that entire ending cutscene sequence is just this echo of how the game starts, but with a new context. And the difference is in the taking versus being given control. Or at least the illusion of control. The specialness of her position as director was freely given and could just as quickly or easily be taken away. It was more like they were letting her play at being director. Ati calls her his assistant. Like, even how she and Dylan became prime candidates, it wasn't an inherent specialness about them. It was dumb luck of them finding a projector in a dump and then surviving the fallout from it. This is different. This is Jesse, but self-actualized. This is the end of her arc. Oh, it's so damn good! And there are just a cornucopia of ways that you could read this beyond just the simple plot reading. It's so thematically rich. It's so good. Loving it. We'll chew on this and the coming proper ending, and, you know, we still have DLC stuff to go through. We will chew on all of that, and then next episode, we'll revisit the themes a little bit. One read that I do want to recommend, though, is contained in this video that Curio did. It's a thematic reading of the game, specifically looking at the new weird, cosmic horror, isolation, the game's brutalist aesthetic, and its use of language and how those things tie together in a narrative about examining the dynamic between things like cops and prisoners, and also the eroding forces of capitalism grinding down on us from all directions. Jesus, I love that move. And they envision these complex bureaucracies and capitalist institutions as vast eldritch forces, which is not far off the mark as far as what the game is portraying. It's just making that connection. They also did a follow-up video, just a couple of minutes, breaking down the objects of power as technologies of governance. And, of course, the most fundamental object of power we have is the service weapon, which I called attention to earlier. It's how this echo of the beginning of the game starts. Taking control for Jesse is taking the gun. It's also how we start the game, start our role as director of the FBC. So it's breaking down technology... Ooh, shit. Technologies of governance, and specifically looking at the service weapon and how in the real world the service weapon, a cop's service weapon, is their mandate from the state for violence. It's their monopoly on violence, on state-sanctioned violence. And I think this endgame segment does a really fantastic job of blending all and clarifying all these themes together. And then you have this long series of fights in which the board is like explicitly breaking the fourth wall to tell you, hey, we've powered you up. That's the appropriate thing to do in the endgame. Now you're superpowered and all the enemies are level 30 or 29 or whatever. And I think that sort of fourth wall breaking meta commentary has become very exhausting and very cliche. But when done well, I think it only enriches this game. I think it is a tremendously well done take on what has become kind of a well-worn cliche in narrative-driven games. Is this tendency towards meta-narrative and commentary on what games are and what they mean and what it means for a game to have these deeper thematic readings. I'm just real happy right now. It's funny that the combat section in this, specifically because of the power-up, feels like the falling action to the climax that we've had, because we've had a much stronger emotional climax leading up to this point. And this is kind of perfunctory. This is also taking just a few seconds to, one, present some really dope imagery, but also give you some time to chew on a lot of what they've just presented you in terms of their motifs and tying everything together, giving you a chance to really wrap your head around everything that's happened so far. It's useful in that regard. And then, of course, the game is trying to break the fourth wall occasionally, especially with the board, for a reason. And so this is just reinforcement through repetition. It's also very, very video gamey. To just have all of this emotional payoff, this development, this big denouement, all this exposition, and all of this more heady stuff, and then be like, oh yeah, now go shoot your way through a bunch of horde of bad guys towards the goal. Go ahead. That's how video games do. I think it works here. I think it works really well. If Control does nothing else well, and it does plenty well, but one thing it nails in almost every aspect is execution.
Dylan's in a coma. I don't know if there's anything of him left in there. If he'll ever find his way back. The portal's been closed, but the hiss is still in the oldest house. And the lockdown can't be lifted as long as any trace of it remains. I'm working on a solution with my management team, but there is still a long road ahead. I'm the director of the Federal Bureau of Control. We're in this together. You and I.
We are not gonna let credits roll just yet. We still have more game. There's an intermission that should be coming up soon, and then there are still 2 DLCs, including the Foundation, which we'll get to next time after that intermission, and then one more after that, I think. That's yet to be released, but we'll get to that when it comes. As for the next 2 LPs, that is going to be Fury, and then Neo 2 in that order.
Shawshank Redemption. That's the name of the movie I was thinking of earlier. Not important, but that was it.
Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and ring the bell. If you are able, support me over at patreon.com/scribe or on Ko-fi, or follow me on Twitter. That would be cool too. All of these things are super helpful and appreciated. Thank you all for watching. Take it easy. Have a good one.